Hello. Huh? So we could not complete na last day. Huh? We stopped midway. The data collection we were doing na. So we will start from there where we left. Huh? Collection of primary. We understood that. So we were doing these methods. 5 methods were there, right? जैसे performing experiments और जो methods है, हाँ, observation, interview, through questionnaires, through schedules, हाँ, these are the methods where अभी क्या confusion बहुत है, हाँ? नहीं नहीं पूछ रहा मीन्स ठीक है ना, हाँ, जा रहे हो अभी अंदर, हाँ? कल गए थे, हाँ, तो जाना है तो दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट, हाँ दिस इज, तुम क्या करोगे जाके इंटरव्यू मेथड और क्वेश्चनियर शेड्यूल्स लेके जाओगे, हाँ सो क्या एकदम पूछने का लिस्ट लेके जाना है, वट एवर. सो मेथड ऑफ डाटा कलेक्शन इज क्वाइट पॉपुलर, हाँ ये पॉपुलर है काफी, हाँ तुम लोग जैसे करोगे अभी डाटा कलेक्शन, हाँ एंड इट इज वेरी पॉपुलर बोल रहे हैं, एंड पार्टिकुलर इन केस ऑफ बिग इंक्वायरीज, तुम्हारा बहुत बड़ा इंक्वायरी 5 साल का है, एंड नहीं 5 नहीं 3 भी हो, कोई कोई मुझे पूछा कि यार ऐसा कितना जल्दी हो सकता है, हाँ, हाँ, हो सकता है, क्यों नहीं हो सकता है, हाँ, पॉसिबल है, हाँ, minimum is 3 years, I think. Huh? 3 years means they're generally what the HBNI says. It is on the HBNI's discretion. Dekho, you will work in BRC, but all the rules will be according to HBNI. So what they say that I was telling you, will be an expert committee, huh? Then expert committee means doctoral committee, huh? Discussion with experts. लिख देने का हर आंसर में discussion with experts. So expert committee, that doctoral committee will sit every year and they call it annual progressive report. हाँ, तो तुम्हारा registration date they have told when it is. So one day you will be registered. हाँ, officially from that day you are an HBNA student. उसका 1 साल के अंदर you have to do an APR, annual progress report. You have to submit, you have to present, and experts will tell you about, रिव्यू करेंगे कि तुम ठीक डायरेक्शन में हो, मींस रिसर्च डिजाइन तुम्हारा डायरेक्शन ठीक है या गलत है, देन दे विल टेल नहीं इस ऐसा करो, हाँ सो ऐसा 3 APR कंपलसरी मैंने जितना सुना है. आई एम ऑल्सो नॉट, आई एम एन HBNI but I am not, but you have to ask the HBNI people, but whatever as far as I know is that three APR is must. So 3 साल, isn't it? So in the third APR, you, if the committee thinks, after third APR, you have to submit minimum 3 APR. On the third APR, if the committee thinks, okay, your work is substantial, then you can, the committee can tell you to present the pre-synopsis. Huh? So then you have to appear for a pre-synopsis viva. Huh? And then the pre-synopsis viva ke baad, you have to submit the thesis within 15 days or 1 month. I also that I don't know. रूल्स चाहे तो नेक्स्ट डे मैं लेके आ सकता हूँ, ये वेबसाइट में अवेलेबल है, HBNI वेबसाइट में. एंड जैसे जहां से मैंने टेम्पलेट लिया था, लिस्ट निकाला था, and within after you receive the review of the external experts, of your thesis, you have to conduct a viva within some time frame, 1 month, 2 months के अंदर ऐसा. So this is what. So 3 years is okay ना? It's okay ना? 3 years minimum जो time period है. So 3 से, and somebody insists that मेरे को 5 साल ही रहना है. ह्यूज सैलरी मिल रहा है ना मुझे, हाँ सो इट्स पर्सपेक्टिव. किसी को जिसको 3 साल में करना है वो कर सकता है, जिसको 5 साल रहना है रह सकता है, हाँ मोर रिसर्च मोर एक्सपीरियंस ऐसा है. So it's up to you, but I think, but HBNI people can tell you better about the time frame. I am not the correct person, although I'm teaching research methodology, but still the time frame, I think it's minimum 3 years. This is what I know. So collection of data through questionnaires. Here you ask questions in big inquiries. It has been adopted by private individuals, research workers, private and public organizations, even by governments, and also by HBNI students of this batch. Now अभी तुम लोग questions लेके जा रहे हो, and good. अभी clear कर लो ना जितना भी doubts है, and ask freely. जो doubts है, so that later on you are not keeping any doubts or anything. Right now you just clear the merits claimed on this method. What are the merits of this method? There is low cost even when the universe is large and widespread geographically. It is free from bias of the interviewer. Respondents have adequate time to give well thought out answer. Respondents who are not easily approachable can also be reached conveniently. So these are the merits they say, and the demerits are low rate of return. So if you go and ask bombard questions and the person is not responding, you cannot do anything, right? So you have to receive the answer. So it's upon to the respondent to reply. So it can be used only when respondents are educated and cooperating. The control over questionnaire may be long, and there is inbuilt flexibility because of difficulty of amending the approach. There is also possibility of ambiguous replies. The reply sahi hai ki nahi, that we don't know. It is difficult to know whether willing respondents are truly representative, and the method is like to be slowest of all. Very slow method hoga. So, and then before using this method, it is always advised to conduct a pilot survey for testing the questionnaires. उस मतलब questions जो बना रहे हो लेके जा रहे हो, हाँ, उसको भी बोल रहा है क्या करना है, एक पायलट सर्वे करना है. So in a big inquiry, the significance of pilot survey is very much felt. Pilot survey is the replica and rehearsal of the main survey. Such a survey being conducted by experts brings to the light the weakness of the questionnaires. तुम कुछ मिस कर रहे हो क्वेश्चन में, and later on you should not suffer because of that. So you should questionnaire भी तुम एक बार एक्सपर्ट से दिखा लो जो क्वेश्चंस लेके जा रहे हो. एंड ऐसे ही अब्रप्टली मत आ जाओ, कुछ लिख के लाओ, एक के बाद एक आंसर लिखो एंड देन कंपेयर सिट विद द रिजल्ट्स. वीकनेस तुम्हें पता चल जाएगा इफ यू डू अ पायलट सर्वे बिफोर यू आस्क विद द एक्सपर्ट्स. एक्सपर्ट्स तुम्हारे केस में कौन रहेगा, तुम जो क्वेश्चंस कर रहे हो, दोज सीनियर्स, दोज हैव कंप्लीटेड पीएचडी फ्रॉम एचबीएनआई. मेरे को पूछोगे तो आई विल नॉट टेल यू करेक्ट. It is suffer from weakness, but you can definitely ask what are the general questions. And then through schedules kya hai, there is little difference from questionnaires. Little difference which lies in the fact that schedules pro forma containing a set of questions are being filled in by the enumerators who are specially appointed for the purpose. तो इधर रिसर्च जो प्राइवेट रिसर्च कर रहा है, जो क्वेश्चनियर करके भेज रहा था, वो schedules कर सकते हैं. So they can prepare a question list of question and use enumerators to get the replies. So this method, वो बोल रहा है, this method requires the selection of enumerators for filling up the schedules. This method is very useful in extensive inquiries and can lead to fairly reliable results. And it is, however, very expensive and usually adopted by big agencies. Schedules हम लोग नहीं सोच सकते. Guidelines for constructing and developing questionnaires, ये सब list किया है. ये सब उतना ज़्यादा जरूरत नहीं, just is in the syllabus. So I have listed it. The researcher must keep in view the problem he is to study from it provides. Means it should not, your question should not deviate from your hypothesis or problem. So this is what. So your question should be कि कल ही मिला एक दिन के लिए, आज चल नहीं रहा है. Anyways, छोड़ देते हैं इसको. Appropriate form of questions depend on the nature of information sought. So you should have a clear understanding of your idea or question should be well defined. And you have to decide, the researcher must decide whether to use closed or open-ended questions. Means closed question करेंगे और open रख देंगे question को. Close-ended मतलब सर मुझे 3 साल में पीएचडी चाहिए, आप दे सकते हो क्या? ये close-ended हुआ. और open-ended सर कितने साल में होगा? So that is a basic difference. Means मैं तुम लोग means easily इसलिए बताया what is the difference between them. Questions should be simple and must be constructed in view to their forming a logical part of well thought out tabulation plan. The units of enumeration is a जो rough draft of the questionnaires should be prepared, giving the due thought to the appropriate sequence. Sequence is also important. Sequencing, कैसे questions कर रहे हो? Means it should be from priority to least priority. Is that so? ऐसे ही abruptly we should not do questionnaires. Maybe there are different rules to be followed. तो priority based questions, एक question किया फिर out of the तीसरा question तीसरा context में, it is difficult for the respondent to reply. from the perspective of the respondent also. So he should also be able to reply in a sequence. So वो हमें देखना है. So these are the main points, the words. So this that sequence is important. Researcher must invariably re-examine. Means अब तुम्हें फिर से देखना पड़ेगा. Pilot study is better. Means तुम्हारा जो questionnaire है वो किसी expert से एक बार check करा लो. हाँ. So that if there is some ambiguity or if you are missing out something, it can be included, right? So this is what. And the question must be simple but straightforward for the respondents, so that they should not have any difficulty in answering the question. बहुत ज़्यादा difficult question कर दोगे जो एकदम straightforward है. Straightforward answers is sometimes difficult to give. Diplomatic answers are easy. हाँ हो भी सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता है, ऐसा type. हाँ. So guidelines for successful interviewing. Interviewing is an art and one learns it by experience. So this is what is very definitely anything which you do it repeatedly, you gain experience in this, right? Replication जो हम लोगों ने बोला था, and or observation you are repeating it, then you will gain confidence that okay, the observation is a fact. Similarly, suppose you are presenting your work. Some are inherently good speakers. They can go to a symposium and present his or her work very nicely. It's like you have to compulsorily present your work in APRs, and definitely you will be going to symposium and present your work. And somebody is maybe lagging behind. Okay, मैं presentation उतना अच्छे से नहीं कर पाऊंगा, लेकिन मैंने देखा है, means from my experience is that जो नहीं कर पा रहा है उसको opportunity दोगे ना ज़्यादा, he will come out with flying colors. Eventually he learns by experience, क्योंकि experience matters in presentations as well as वो क्या बोल रहे हैं, it's interview as art which one learns by experience. Means किसी पे interview ले रहे हो, it's like simple like presenting the work or presenting a class or teaching. So it's an art which learns by experience. So you have to have that open-minded. Okay, मैं change कर सकता हूँ if it is not appropriate, और मेरा जो जहाँ पे dark areas है उसमें मैं light डाल के I will change it. So this is how you will learn by experience. Interviewer must plan in advance and should fully know the problem under consideration. She must choose a suitable time and place so that the interviewee may be at ease during the interview period. For this purpose, some knowledge of daily routine of interview is necessary. हाँ, जो कोई रिसर्च के लिए किसी इंटरव्यू के पास जा रहा है, जैसे अगर उसको क्लास लेने जाना है, सपोज पीएचडी के लिए, एंड ही हैज शेड्यूल टाइम, वो बोला आ जाओ, बट ही इज ऑलवेज लुकिंग इन द वॉच. अरे अभी उसका क्या है, इमीडिएटली देयर ही हैज एन असाइनमेंट वेयर ही हैज टू गो. वो आंसर शॉर्ट रखेगा, मिनिमल, तुम्हें इतना इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं देगा. बट इफ यू नो हिज डेली शेड्यूल, वो बोल रहा है कि इफ यू आस्क योर क्वेश्चंस इन अ टाइम फ्रेम वेयर द इंटरव्यू इज एट ईज, कंफर्टेबल है, तो उसमें वो सही दे पाएगा. दैट इज वाई you also, when you will ask question to the experts or to your guides or supervisors, you have to ask it when he or she is at ease. उसको assignment के टाइम जाके push करोगे तो he will quickly कुछ बोल के चले जाएंगे. So this is essential. Interviewers approach must be friendly and informal. बोल रहे friendly and informal manner में करो. All possible, 3 नंबर में third, all possible efforts should be made to establish proper rapport with the interview. This is important. If I am not at ease with you, suppose you are taking my interview and you have not properly initially, जैसे सब लोग you have come through an interview here, initially तुमको आते ही क्या एक क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया, नहीं, पहले बिठाया, बैठो थोड़ा, दूसरा कुछ कहाँ पे रखे हो, how things, so that you become comfortable in that place, right? So that is the what they mean by that. Okay, first make the interview comfortable and then ask the questions. Okay, like that. Number 4, interviewer must know the ability to listen with understanding. Respect and curiosity is the gateway to communication. So suppose you are asking a question, जैसे हम लोग, means the committee where you have faced, you have been asked a question in the interview and you are deviating from the answer and he becomes annoyed, then the candidate will deviate more. But अगर if he keeps calm, तो हम लोग क्या, देख तुम ठीक से सोचो, ऐसा direction देता है, clues देते हैं. So वैसे एक interview method में when you go and ask questions, you have to, if you are not getting the answer which you expect, don't get, you cannot get impatient. You have to have that kind of patience, so that what they say in 4, you have to have the ability to listen with understanding. तुम्हें सोचना पड़ेगा कि उसका भी प्रॉब्लम्स है, तो you have to listen carefully. Listening is also an art. Okay, respect and curiosity is the gateway to communication. तो respect करना है, हाँ. Number इसलिए for all this the interviewer, the person who is interviewing, must be intelligent and must be a man with self restraint and self discipline. Number 5, to the extent possible there should be free flowing interview, free flowing होना चाहिए. And number 6, in case of big inquiries where the task of collecting information is accomplished by several interviewers, बहुत सारा, there should be an interview guide to be observed by all so as to ensure reasonable uniformity in respect to all salient points in the study. So you have to conclude after suppose 20 interviews, 20 गाइड्स के पास जाके तुम्हें पता करना है, 20 इंटरव्यूज लेना है ना. तो यू हैव टू हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ कॉम्परेटिव इवेल्युएशन एट द एंड ना. वो इवेल्युएशन हमें पता होना चाहिए कि हमें ऐसे करूं. उसके लिए क्या बोल रहा है, इन केस ऑफ बिग इंक्वायरीज वेयर द टास्क ऑफ कलेक्टिंग इंफॉर्मेशन इज टू बी अकम्प्लिश्ड बाय सेवरल इंटरव्यूज, there should be an interview guide to be observed also as to ensure reasonable uniformity in all respect of all salient points in the study. Difference between survey and experiment we understood that day that whatever scientific work we will do by experiments, but these surveys, interviews, these are for other type of, means sociology and psychology, जहाँ पे डाटा कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं हम लोग, थ्रू इंटरव्यूज, वो अलग स्टडी है. तो दोनों में क्या डिफरेंस है? Difference between survey and experiment: surveys are conducted in case of descriptive, descriptive research study. Experiments are conducted as part of experimental research study, which most of you will do and we are doing. Survey type research study usually have larger sample because of generally happen to be low. Surveys are concerned with describing, recording, analyzing, and interpreting conditions that either exist or existed. Surveys are usually appropriate in case of social and behavioral sciences. तो सर्वेस किस लिए? इंटरव्यू, सर्वे, शेड्यूल, सोशल बिहेवियर साइंसेस के लिए करेंगे. Whereas experiments are mostly an essential feature of physical and natural sciences. Okay, so experiments, what we will do, we will do experiments. We will be concerned with experiments, but still in syllabus, surveys and schedules and questionnaire interviews are there because this is a part of data collection. Okay. So these are the assignment. Last day we complete that. Okay. State the methods of primary data collection, principles of data collection, merits and demerits of questionnaire method, difference between survey and experiment, guidelines of successful interviewing. Okay, just ऐसे ही लिख दिया. And then we come to the finally 12 and 13 means penultimate class, semi-final. मंडे को में लास्ट क्लास है, एक ही क्लास है, तो जो क्वेश्चन पूछना है पूछ लेना. ठीक है, मंडे को सिर्फ देखेंगे क्या कर सकते. 12 and 13 लेक्चर्स हम लोग कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं from yesterday. So collection of secondary data. So primary data हो गया, अभी secondary data. Secondary data means already published data को कैसे हम लोग करेंगे. Secondary data means the data that are already available, that is they refer to the data which have already been collected and analyzed by someone else. When the researcher utilizes secondary data, she has to look into various sources from where the data are obtained. Secondary data may be either published data or unpublished data. तुम्हें मिल गया तुम्हारा एक खजाना किसी का डाटा ले हुआ, बोले मेरे तो इससे ही थीसिस हो जाएगा, लेकिन यू हैव टू एनालाइज, रीएनालाइज दैट. इट इज नॉट रिलायबल, राइट? सो रिलायबिलिटी ऑफ डाटा इज इंपॉर्टेंट. सेकेंडरी डाटा रिलायबल मीन्स फ्रॉम क्रेडिबल सोर्सेस से तुम्हें चाहिए, नॉट फ्रॉम एनीथिंग. ओके, सो पब्लिश डाटा अवेलेबल इन व्हाट आर द लिस्ट वी हैव ऑलरेडी डन इन लिटरेचर रिव्यू, क्या क्या है. एंड अनपब्लिश डाटा यू कैन गेट from somewhere, diaries, letters, ये सब. So but those who are into non-experimental research, descriptive research, for them not only published report but unpublished data also are useful. बहुत सारा जैसे in many cases diaries में जो लिख के जाते हैं, they help in cracking many cases also, legal case. So that is important in sociology and other type of researches. Case study method means एक case को study करते हैं. The case study method is a very popular form of qualitative analysis. So we are doing quantitative analysis, but still it is a method which we should know about and involves a careful and complete observation of a social unit. Okay, एक social unit को case study करते हैं. एक demographic society means एक area को identify करेगा और a specific social area, something like that. Okay, so unit they analyze. Be that unit a person, it can be a person, a family, an institution, a cultural group, or even the entire community. So a social group by which a case study method, sociology. So the case study method is widely used in systematic field research technique in sociology. So it's a topic of interest in sociology where they do case studies So they do interviews, questionnaire methods, schedules to several families or individuals, or they say in an institution. So sociology might be concerned with this is an institution, right? So here, some behavioral aspect of an institutional employees. Okay, so like that they do social study, and you see in newspaper these reports are coming, right? Is trend either aisa they are under stress. Some suppose somebody is doing ऐसे रिपोर्ट में देख रहा था कि प्राइवेट में कुछ जो सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनीज इन इंडिया एंड सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनीज इन अब्रोड इन यूएस, so how the stress are varied. So these are sociology type of research. So they do with the help of these questionnaires. They ask question कि कब ऑफिस जाते हो, कब आते हो, means all these type of questions, and through questionnaires, through schedules, and through interviews with those employees, they find out okay how this the institution as a whole has an effect. A cultural group, a cultural group के ऊपर भी बहुत सारे research करते हैं, and also sometimes entire community. So these are case studies. So they do case, okay, case to case studies they do, and keep a record, and then give a trend, analyze the data and give of the trend. So these are the important characteristics. जो basically number 6 में देखो, under case study method, the behavioral pattern of the concerning unit is studied directly and not by an indirect and abstract approach. So the behavioral pattern studied in case study method of individuals or families or institution or groups or the community or some specific groups or assumptions. The assumption is of uniformity in the basic human nature, in spite of fact that human behavior may vary according to situations. The assumption of studying the natural history and assumption of comprehensive study. So these are the advantages, and limitations will not go. And we will come to the challenges, okay, which is for everybody, which is the last part of data collection. What are the common challenges we might face in data collection? So data collection is not without its challenges. Here are the common challenges faced during the process. Access to the participants. So whatever we have uh, uh, studied in interview questionnaire method is access to the participants for you. So access to the experiments, it will be access to the techniques, right? Whether you for experimental research, you should have access to the technique. If it is not there, then you will not be able to collect the data. So this is one of the challenge. So access to the processing means assessing the target population or participants can be challenging, especially in sensitive or hard to reach communities or organizations. Second is sample size and representativeness. So what will be the sample size? Means sampling जो challenge था वो data collect आ रहा है. If the sampling you have choose such a way that it is huge, then you will face a problem in data collection. And then quality control of the data. Data का quality कैसा है? Ensuring consistent data quality across multiple data collectors or survey can be difficult. So standardizing protocols are required. Time and resource constraints are always there. Means whatever is time and how much money I have to do the data collection. These always you are writing, okay, time and money. And data recording and maintenance means ये सब तुम्हें part of research है. Importance of recording observation. Record book with page number, handwritten data, Microsoft Excel, Word, audio, video clips. ये सब are data collections method. You all know. And during research, whatever you will do, try to maintain a very good means notebook. At least जहाँ पे तुम लिख रहे हो आज सुबह से मैं क्या क्या काम किया. Otherwise, what will happen is that after 1 year, you are communicating a paper and your boss asks you कि कैसे बनाया था, तुम भूल जाओगे. तुम्हें लगता है कि मुझे याद रहेगा, but you will forget. And this happens with every day. मैं बोलता हूँ लोगों को कि लिख लो, लेकिन if you don't write, you will only face the consequences. So it is very important that recording the observation, record with page number. तुम लिख के रखोगे, and so there are some people I have seen, they are very good in means keeping admin, means it's a very systematic people are there. They keep it very nicely. वो बहुत benefit होगा if you can do it. And also this is an art. आर्ट जैसे बोला ना, an art you can improve by experience. तुम शुरू करो, तुम बोलते हो कि मेरे को नहीं आता है सर, लेकिन तुम शुरू करो. once you start, once you feel the benefits, you will be motivated to keep records. records तुम रखोगे कि सुबह से मैंने क्या किया. तो उस कॉपर आयरन नाइट्रेट वेट कर रहे हो, और तुम्हें लिख के रखा है एक्सेल में इतना वेट कर रहे हो, लेकिन फिर भी तुम जब वेट कर रहे हो लिख के रखो इन रिकॉर्ड बुक, इट विल बेनिफिशियल. फिर जो systems, whatever मेथड यू आर फॉलोइंग, ये तुम कोई पेपर का प्रिंट लेके देख के कर रहे हो, हाँ, इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट इफ यू मेक योर ओन राइट अप, जो जो मैंने किया, तो इट विल हेल्प यू ड्यूरिंग द communication stage of your paper, and all those things will be, it will be helpful. So always remember, keep in software or in hardware, एक नोटबुक तो रखो ही कि आज मैंने ये किया है, कौन सा दिन में किया है वो भी याद रहेगा, एंड रिकॉर्ड बुक रखना है और सॉफ्टवेयर रखना है. आई हैव सीन मेनी पीपल, you are visiting many people, I have seen that who has really excelled here also, because they are my colleagues. They keep a record tracking कि ये samples, हाँ, कहाँ कहाँ गया है, क्या क्या काम हो गया है. दे कीप इन एक्सेल में, बहुत अच्छे से रिकॉर्ड रखता है कि ये ग्रीन हो गया, ये हो गया, ये रेड बाकी है, तो उसके पीछे फॉलो करता है. सुबह आके वो एक्सेल शीट खोल लेता है, अच्छा ये मेरा बाकी है. इफ यू फॉलो लाइक दैट ना, इट इज इजी कि मेरे को कल आके क्या करना पड़ेगा, सुबह आके उतना नहीं होता है कि क्या वी आर ब्रिंगिंग अ प्रेजेंटेशन, इट इज वेरी इजी बिकॉज, बट इफ वी डोंट ब्रिंग अ प्रेजेंटेशन में क्या पढ़ो, पढ़ के नहीं आया तो इट्स बिकम एब्स्ट्रैक्ट. सो ऑलवेज अगर एक्सेल शीट रखोगे कि दीज आर द पेंडिंग वर्क, माई पेंडिंग वर्क, एंड विथ रेड मार्क्स, एक जैसे ही रेड ग्रीन हुआ, ग्रीन कर दिया. There are some people, they really excel, means from my experience I'm telling, those people have found that the output are very huge as compared to others. Maintaining the records, record management and archiving. So maintaining the records means जैसे लिटरेचर रिव्यू तुम्हें लिखना है सपोज, हाँ, आर्काइविंग मीन्स यू आर स्टोरिंग इट समवेयर, हाँ, वेरी वेल डिफाइंड वे, कि तुम जब ढूंढ रहे हो तुम्हें बार बार नहीं करना है. सो आर्काइविंग क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर में करते हैं और इवेंट बेस्ड, और यू कैन डू बेस्ड ऑन योर सब्जेक्ट टॉपिक्स. तो सपोज तुम्हें रिव्यू आर्टिकल लिखना है एंड यू हैव कलेक्टेड 200 articles, but if you have kept in one single folder, that is not a proper archiving. Okay, subject wise, topic wise, year wise, yeah, some basis, method wise, somewhere तुमको उसको separate करना है. जब तुम लिख रहे हो, हाँ, suppose one sub heading लिख रहे हो of your article, वही folder में जाना है और उसी को देख के निकालना है. How it will help you later is that, see, you will be doing similar topic research, हाँ, तुम उसको वापस जा सकते हो. यू कैन गो बैक ड्यूरिंग रिसर्च एंड अगेन हैव एक्सेस टू द सेम फोल्डर, एंड फाइंड आउट, ओके, इन लोगों ने ऐसे किया था तो मेरा रिजल्ट ऐसे मैच हो रहा है. इट विल हेल्प यू इन फाइंडिंग आउट द टेक्निक ऑल्सो, एंड इट विल हेल्प यू फाइंड हेल्पिंग एनालिसिस ऑल्सो. उसके सिवा बहुत सारे इवेंट्स कर रहे हो, जैसे इधर आए हो, हाँ, इधर ज्वाइन किया है, तुम गेट टुगेदर कर रहे हो, फोटोज, हाँ, यू विल चेरिश, रख दिया. फोटोज हम लोग रखते हैं ना आर्काइव करके बहुत अच्छे से. लेटर ऑन विल वी सी, इजीली हम लोगों को मिलेगा कि हाँ, ये हिमाचल प्रदेश टूर, हाँ, या बीआरसी फर्स्ट डे, हाँ. सो ऐसा आर्काइव करके रखोगे, जैसे गूगल फोटोज करते हैं ना, गूगल फोटोज, दे हैव, मेनी ऑफ यू मस्ट बी हैविंग गूगल फोटो, दे गिव 2 years बैक दिस डे. सो यू विल इमीडिएटली हैव अ फीलिंग ऑफ हैप्पीनेस, हाँ, हाँ, बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे आज, हाँ, 2 साल पहले मैंने ये किया था. तो हिस्ट्री, सैंपल हिस्ट्री फॉर क्लिनिकल रिसर्च. ट्रांसपेरेंसी इन डाटा रिकॉर्डिंग. Transparency means data transparency is not merely a compliance requirement, it's a commitment to ethical practices that fosters trust and reliability in data handling. तो जैसे मैं बोला कि there will be separate classes, अभी तो 14 क्लास खत्म हुआ, फिर रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी विल बी देयर फॉर प्रोबेबली 12 क्लासेस ना, 12 3 हुआ है, एंड अगेन 16 क्लासेस ऑन एथिक्स. तो बहुत एथिकली स्ट्रांग हो जाओगे तुम लोग. So they say that transparency in data recording. Okay, data recording में we have to maintain transparency. Why I'm spending in this slide? Because this is important. वो सब उतना important नहीं था. So data transparency is not merely a compliance requirement. ये comply करना ऐसा नहीं है. It's a commitment to ethical practice. So ethical practices, जो ethics classes करोगे, वो demand करता है कि जो data record करता हो वो transparent हो. Transparent means open, सब देख पाए. किसी कोई मांग रहा है तो तुम दिखा पाओगे, हाँ. And so this transparency should be कि क्या क्या, whatever you have used, the conditions of measurements, and what are the results it has come corresponding to the condition of the measurements, what are the sample name you are putting for that. All these data collection you have to do it transparently. Transparency ensures that data is not only clear and open but also comprehensible. It is about shedding light on how data is collected, processed and used. So data Transparency is a compliance now in research world, but it is also a part of ethics. And then how we will record the data. In research methodology, these I'm giving because we will be doing experiment research, right? So in research methodology, recording observations, maintaining accurate results, understanding sample history, and ensuring transparency. 4 points है. So recording observation, maintaining record, sample history, and ensuring transparency. These are the 4 points are crucial for ensuring the validity, means your data is valid or not. Reliability means it can be repeated or not. Means accurate or not. Replicability means it can be repeated or not. The research findings. It is why each element is important. Why recording observation is important. Observing and recording relevant data allows researcher to capture details and behavior that might be missed through other methods. It provides a direct first-hand account of phenomena under study, which is essential for qualitative research and certain quantitative investigations. तो record करके रखा है, तो जितना suppose we have established it, means in our lab what happened, एक बार we have prepared some sample where we have dispersed 5% of platinum on carbon. 5% platinum carbon. There is a procedure laid out, and somebody has prepared 5% platinum and carbon, और एनालिसिस भी हो गया, इलेक्ट्रोकेमिकल एनालिसिस डन, डाटा वाटा रेडी हो गया. फिर हम लोगों ने भेजा एनालिसिस के लिए. एनालिसिस जैसे मैं बोला ना, दिस नॉट सीक्वेंस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बट वी हैव लिटिल समटाइम्स लेस कंट्रोल ओवर सीक्वेंस. एनालिसिस भेज दिया था कहीं पे, उससे उधर से डाटा आने में टाइम लग गया. बीच में हम लोगों का जो अवेलेबल एनालिसिस है वो हो गया. And then every sample is showing 10% platinum, 10% platinum, 10. तो 5 का 10 कैसे हुआ? हम लोग रिकॉर्ड किया, पेपर्स देखा जहां से लिया था, वो पेपर्स में तो लिखा है, हाँ ये 1 ग्राम कार्बन में इतना फ्लोरोप्लेटिनिक एसिड लेना है, इतना. वो स्टूडेंट इज टेलिंग आई हैव फॉलोड इट एग्जैक्टली. कि थोड़ी देर बाद आया, बोलते सर वो बीकर मिला, जिसमें मैं किया था उसमें लिखा है एक्चुअली 0.5 ग्राम कार्बन. तो 1 ग्राम कार्बन के बदले पे 0.5 ग्राम कार्बन was taken, and that is why the amount of platinum has doubled. Okay, so it will help you. So there is no harm. It is not a problem. Okay, we'll report it as 10%, because we have got the data. But this is importance in recording the observations. If you made the record it, you will be able to know. तो हर जगह लिखना है. तो बीकर में भी लिख के रखो कितना ग्राम कार्बन लिया, कितना, बाद में मिटा देना एसीटोन से होने के बाद. So observing and recording relevant data allows researcher to capture details and behavior that may be missed, को miss कर सकते हो through other methods. It provides direct first-hand account of phenomena under study, which is essential for qualitative research and certain quantitative investigation. If the person was keeping जब weight लिया कार्बन का तभी लिख के रखेगा ना notebook में. If you keeps a notebook where he is writing the weights, such errors will never come. So try to maintain a well observed notebook. Maintaining records, proper record keeping involves proper documentation of all observations, data collection methods, procedures, decision made during research process. Not only he's telling that data collection kahi leak ho, everything. They are telling that you write down, and any potential biases. This allows researchers to retrace their steps. तुम भूल जाओगे, तुम्हारा error आ रहा है in some measurements. एक cyclic voltammetry करो, you are not getting the P. तुम कुछ change किया, parameters, and then you finally get the P. लेकिन क्या पैरामीटर चेंज किया तुम नेक्स्ट टाइम भूल जाओगे. इफ यू कीप अ रिकॉर्ड बुक विथ यू ऑलवेज, एक कॉपी हमेशा हाथ में लेके चलना है. देन यू राइट डाउन, देन इट विल बी गुड. जैसे मैं गलती कर रहा हूँ, मैं लिख नहीं रहा हूँ आज मैं क्या क्या गलती किया है ना क्लास में. अगर मैं लिख लेता तो नेक्स्ट ईयर शायद प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता. बट इफ आई टीच नेक्स्ट ईयर, आई डोंट नो. This allows researchers to retrace their step, replicate the study, and ensure transparency. It also is in communication and collaboration with other researchers. Sample history. Sample history refers to the background information of the participants or study population. This includes details like previous experiences relevant to the research topic or any potential selection biases. Understanding the sample history is critical for interpreting the results accurately. It allows researchers to account for factors that might be influencing the findings and avoid misinterpretations. Okay. And transparency in data recording. These are the 4 factors. Key point that 4 factors that are important for data recording. Okay. Transparency, we discussed. Transparency in data recording means clearly documenting how data was collected, stored, and analyzed. This includes specifying the research methods used, the data collection tools, data cleaning of or transformations performed. Key points to remember: detailed and consistent recording. आज किया कल नहीं किया ऐसा नहीं है, हाँ रोज करना है, डिटेल्स करना है. डाटा स्टोरेज एंड सिक्योरिटी. प्रिवेंट, तुम पीसी में सब कुछ स्टोर करते हो, बट ऑलवेज तुम यू विल हैव कंटिन्यूअसली बाय सम हार्ड डिस्क एंड कीप बैकअप विथ यू, हाँ, सो दैट लेटर ऑन यू विल नॉट फील ओके मेरा खराब हो गया पीसी तो मेरा डैमेज हो गया. डॉक्यूमेंटेशन ऑफ मेथड्स का डॉक्यूमेंट जो रिसर्च मेथड से मींस टेक्निक्स यूज करो उसको भी वेल डॉक्यूमेंटेड रखो. Okay. Processing and analysis of data. So how after you have done the data, how you will process it? So editing of data is process of examining the collected raw data to detect errors and omission, to correct these when possible. As a matter of fact, देखो मैंने प्रोसेसिंग ठीक से नहीं किया, लास्ट ईयर भी ये 1 था ऊपर, इस साल भी ये 1 रह गया है, हाँ. सो एज अ मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट, क्योंकि मैं फॉलो नहीं कर रहा हूँ ना नोटबुक, अरे आज मैं घर इधर लेता लिख लेता, हाँ ये 1 you have to delete, so I would have gone and deleted, but see it is repeated every year. So as a matter of fact, editing involves a careful scrutiny of the completed questionnaires and or schedules. Editing is done to assure that the data are accurate, consistent with other scattered and uniform. So data collection के बाद तुम data को edit करोगे, हाँ, to make it in a presentable form. तुम generally for experiments to collect the raw data, transform it into a presentable form, हाँ, हाँ, क्या tabulation, next coding, and then coding में तुम जो theoretical research कर रहे हो उसके लिए important है classification, and finally you do tabulation. So tabulation means graphical. General tables के बदले में हम लोग ग्राफ्स ज्यादा यूज करते हैं, ग्राफ्स करते हैं, एक्स एक्सिस वाई एक्सिस में प्लॉट करते हैं, सो दैट इट इज फॉर द रीडर्स इट इज इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो फ्रॉम रॉ डाटा टू डाटा प्रेजेंटेशन तक लेके जाने के लिए देयर आर सर्टेन स्टेप्स एंड यू हैव टू फॉलो दिस स्टेप्स, एंड दोस raw data every day you will get some, every time you do an experiment you get some raw data, you have to edit, code it, and then transform into a tabulated form or a presentable form, huh? Classify it, which data we will present it in which tables, huh? Or which graphs. So generally we use such graphs for presenting our data. When a mass of data has been assembled, it becomes necessary for the research to arrange them in some kind of concise and logical order. This procedure refers to as tabulation. So the tabulation is the process of summarizing the raw data and displaying the same in compact form for further analysis. In the broader sense, tabulation is an orderly arrangement of data in columns and rows. So instead of tabulation, doing graphical. So interpretation in research: what, why, how, and the precautions. So what is interesting? Now we have completed data collection. Okay, now you have to come to interpret the results and draw a conclusion. Okay, so interpretation means, what is the definition? Drawing inferences from collected facts after analysis experience. So whatever data you have collected, you have repeated it, it becomes a fact. Okay, and that fact you have to sit down and analyze. Search for broader meaning of the research findings. So you find a broader meaning of what research you have done. Establish continuity in research by linking studies. Develop explanatory concepts and frameworks. It explores. Scope is what? It explores relationships. तो हम लोगों को हाइपोथेसिस में बोला था, अगेन इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल एंड डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल में रिलेशनशिप है. So with this data, you have to make it in a presentable form, and then only you will be able to explore the relationships within the data, and you can extend the data to theory, hypothesis testing, and with prior research. Extends beyond data to theories, hypothesis, and prior research से compare करोगे. Role in research is clarifies the factors behind observation. So you have 5, 6 samples, you have done some data collection, you have got the results, data results, plot किया, tabulate किया, and जो observation है उसको भेज दिया publication के लिए. It's also is okay, but unless and until you clarify the factors behind your observation, whatever you have got, the observing, why you are observing, why answering. So that is interpretation. If we can answer why you are getting such a trend, if you have get a trend कि मेरे 5 सैंपल में कुछ प्रॉपर्टी डिक्रीज हो रहा है या कुछ प्रॉपर्टी इंक्रीज हो रहा है या इंक्रीज होकर डिक्रीज हो रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है, वाई आंसर करोगे तो यू विल आइडेंटिफाई द फैक्टर्स behind your observation So this is what is interpretation is. Provides theoretical guidance for, and you propose a theory, it gives guidance for future research. तुमने जो बताया कि हाँ ये peaking होगा, हाँ, at some point. So ये peaking होगा means it gives scope for future research. It gives a theory where future research will get a direction. जैसे direction in this, why I will give this example of जैसे ये हाइड्रोजन इवोल्यूशन रिएक्शन जो हम लोग रोज कभी कभी बोलते हैं ना हाइड्रोजन के बारे में. सो देर इज एन इलेक्ट्रोकेमिकल हाइड्रोजन इवोल्यूशन. तो हाइड्रोजन इवॉल्व हो रहा है, पानी H2O से हाइड्रोजन हो रहा है. हाँ, तो वेरियस सरफेस के ऊपर वो हो सकता है. हाँ, तो ऑब्जर्वेशन इज प्लेटिनम, पैलेडियम, दीज आर वेरी गुड. दिस इज गिविंग हाईएस्ट एक्टिविटी. दे आर टेलिंग वो सबसे ज्यादा एक्टिव है. इज बेस्ट शोइंग द बेस्ट काइनेटिक्स फॉर दिस हाइड्रोजन इवोल्यूशन रिएक्शन. बहुत काम पहले भी हुआ है, बहुत काम अभी भी हो रहा है. हाँ, लेकिन देयर वाज अ पर्सन नेम नॉर्स्कॉफ. हाँ, नॉर्स्कॉफ. सो ही ड्यूरिंग अराउंड 2000 इसके आसपास एक पेपर पब्लिश किया. उसमें हाँ DFT स्टडी किया. हाँ, DFT स्टडीज यू नो, हाँ, थ्योरेटिकल स्टडीज. सो डेंसिटी फंक्शनल थ्योरी जैसे. सो उस स्टडी से निकला कि जो एक प्लॉट निकला, मैं एक्चुअली आई कुड हैव ब्रॉट एनीवेज, विदाउट दैट आल्सो आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल दैट ऐसे एक वोल्कानो प्लॉट हुआ. जिस वोल्कानो के टॉप पे ऐसा देख बहुत सारे एलिमेंट्स उसने लिया, कुछ और ऐसा करके बढ़ रहा है, टॉप आ रहा है, फिर एलिमेंट्स डिक्रीज हो रहा है. एक्स एक्सिस में फ्री एनर्जी ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एब्जॉर्प्शन है, और वाई एक्सिस में एक्टिविटी दिया है इन टर्म्स ऑफ पैरामीटर. जो पैरामीटर I exactly don't remember. It was probably free exchange current density. Okay, मतलब जितना exchange current density हाई है, हाँ, वो बेस्ट एक्टिविटी है. तो जो वोल्कानो का टॉप में देखा, ये सब बैठा हुआ है, प्लैटिनम, पैलेडियम. हाँ, वो DFT से निकाला. और जब एक्सेस में फ्री एनर्जी ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एब्जॉर्प्शन देखा, H एब्जॉर्प्शन देखा कि वो मैच कर रहा है 0 के साथ. सो ही प्रपोज ए थ्योरी. उसका थ्योरी ये लेटेस्ट कॉन्टेम्पोररी थ्योरी बोल रहा है. मैं कल पहले जैसा पुराना थ्योरीज नहीं बोल रहा, काइनेटिक थ्योरी, बॉयल्स लॉ नहीं बोल रहा. And it has got more than probably 2, 3, 4, 5,000 citations, that paper. Means that interpretation is so good that it provided theoretical guidance for future studies. तो बोल रहा है, if you can create a material which is having thermoneutral delta G, means thermoneutral free energy of absorption, is will be the best catalyst. So it becomes a theory कि कुछ elements free energy of absorption बहुत negative है, means वो क्या होगा, पानी उसके सामने आएगा, H के साथ एब्जॉर्ब करेगा, जैसे निकल, और निकल हाइड्राइड बन के बैठ जाएगा. हाँ, बिकॉज इट फॉर्म स्टेबल हाइड्राइड्स, निकल, मैग्नीशियम हाइड्राइड्स, ये सब हाइड्रोजन लेके बैठ जाएगा. दे विल सिट विथ हाइड्राइड्स, इट विल नॉट इवॉल्व दैट हाइड्रोजन. लेकिन वो वाटर को स्प्लिट कर सकते हैं. H वो बीच में है, 2 H है ना, तो इट कैन स्प्लिट दैट वाटर, बट हाइड्रोजन लेके ही विल सिट बैक बिकॉज द फ्री एनर्जी इज नेगेटिव. ओके, फिजिबल. जो फ्री एनर्जी पॉजिटिव है, वो क्या है, वो तोड़ ही नहीं सकता है वाटर को. हाँ, बिकॉज उसको हाइड्रोजन के साथ एब्जॉर्प्शन लो है. लेकिन जो न्यूट्रल है, सो दिस इज व्हाट द कैटालिसिस थ्योरी ऑफ कैटालिसिस इज दैट इट शुड हैव अ लो इंटरेक्शन एनर्जी विद द रिएक्टेंट, जो हेटेरोजेनियस कैटालिसिस बोलते हैं. इट्स इन अ डिफरेंट मीडियम देन दैट ऑफ द रिएक्टेंट. सो व्हाट हैपेंस, ये सब फ्री एनर्जी 0 के आसपास है, मतलब वो हाइड्रोजन को तोड़ भी सकता है, एंड देन इट कैन रिलीज इट ऑल्सो. हाँ, so those acted as the best catalyst. So this was a theory he proposed by theoretical understanding with the help of density functional theory, but it provide a guidance for future studies. उसके बेसिस पे लोग क्या किया, कुछ एलिमेंट्स इस साइड से लिए, कुछ एलिमेंट्स उस साइड से लिए, फिर मिक्स कर दिया और बोला कि 0 के आसपास लाऊंगा. So this was one of the theory. ऐसा नहीं कि यही theory में सब कुछ बेस्ट है. This gave a theoretical guidance for many future studies. More than thousands citation है एक पेपर का. Just imagine. And ये फिर से छोटा हो गया. Okay. So why interpretation? Why we will go through interpretation? So break लेंगे क्या अभी? हाँ, हाँ. कि तुम लोग अंदर जाना, you want to go inside after? हाँ, तो जल्दी छोड़ देंगे तो बेटर है ना. ऑलरेडी अपॉइंटमेंट लेके रखा है. हाँ, नहीं, एक वहां जाके एक्सप्लोर करना है, ठीक है. Then we will complete and then go. Then we can go early, huh? So why interpretation is important? So it is through interpretation The researcher can well understand the abstract principle that works behind his finding. किसी को जाना है तो पानी पी के आ सकते हो, है ना? हाँ, कोई किसी को ब्रेक चाहिए, so it's free. तुम जाओ आओ, हाँ? There is not a problem, हाँ? जाना है? नहीं. इस क्लास में क्या बायो साइंस क्लासेस होता है इस रूम में, हाँ, इसलिए तुम लोग सामने बैठते हो. अच्छा, मैं सोच रहा था कि क्या है, लास्ट डे में इंटरप्रेट कर पाया मैं करेक्टली विथ मेनी ऑब्जर्वेशन. मैं भी थोड़ा पानी पी के आता हूँ, हाँ. 5 मिनट, 2 मिनट. Don't worry, जल्दी छोड़ देंगे. You can go and interact, हाँ? Question है, जल्दी छोड़ दो. हेलो. ओके, वेलकम बैक. कितने बजे से व्हाट टाइम क्लासेस स्टार्ट? Now we are becoming familiar, interview method में, 8:45. So it is not possible to go in the morning hours, inside. Only after the classes. But then research methodology, every classes will be there after lunch, no? नहीं, 8:45 के पहले तो जाने का नहीं. You can go, but nobody will come there. Very few. हाँ, तो हेलो करो, अप्लाई करो. हाँ, इट्स गुड दैट यू आर अप्लाइंग इट डायरेक्टली. हाँ, पहले जाके ऐसे बात करो सर, ऐसा कुछ आउट ऑफ द कॉन्टेक्स्ट. हाँ, द वंस यू बिकम फैमिलियर देन तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन पूछो कि सर मेरा ये क्वेश्चन, और क्वेश्चनर बना लो. तो तुम लोग आए कल कुछ लिस्ट ही नहीं है क्वेश्चन का, मन में बोला क्या है. तो यू शुड डू वेल डिफाइंड क्वेश्चंस पूछना है. हाँ, बट आंसर मिलेगा. हाँ, आंसर आंसर मिल रहा है. तुम लोगों ने डिसाइड किया कुछ इस बायो वायो आज ही? केमिस्ट्री का तो बहुत पहले हो गया है प्रेजेंटेशन, है ना. इतना डिसाइड किया, ओह दैट इज ग्रेट. सो जो फर्स्ट प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट फर्स्ट क्लियर है. हाँ, ब्रॉड कॉन्टेक्स्ट में. हाँ, उसमें एम्बिग्यूटी है अभी. हाँ, तो वो एम्बिग्यूटी विद, और तुम्हें क्या करना है, लिटरेचर सर्वे, हाँ, डिस्कशन विद एक्सपर्ट्स. हाँ, तो ये सब करते जाओ अभी. एंड देन कम टू योर रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम, है ना. हाँ, हाँ, पीयर्स एक्सपर्ट्स, यस. कब तक देना है? व्हेन दे हैव टोल्ड दैट यू हैव टू सबमिट. अच्छा, सब डिसिप्लिन का अलग अलग होगा, फिजिक्स का, केमिस्ट्री का, बायो साइंस. हाँ, प्रोबेबली. अच्छा, और एग्जाम्स क्या कब करना है इधर का एग्जाम्स? अक्टूबर 28 से. हाँ, तो दिवाली का छुट्टी वुट्टी कोई नहीं ले रहा है? हाँ, हाँ, जाना. ओके, पता नहीं. हाँ, ठीक है, चलेगा. मीन्स 28 से एग्जाम है, पर 28 तक अगर एग्जाम है, आई थिंक रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी क्लास जो है ना, एवरी डे आफ्टरनून में है. तो व्हेन यू विल गो, सो ओनली यू कैन गो आफ्टरनून आफ्टर 4:30. हाँ, ऐसा है. तो यू गो देयर, इट विल बी मोर इनफॉर्मल. हाँ, यू गो टू मॉडल कैंटीन. हाँ, इंस्टेड ऑफ, हाँ ना, isn't it? वो कर सकते ना. ओह दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट, यस. लेकिन वो लोग तो आए थे तुम्हें प्रेजेंटेशंस देने के लिए, नहीं? हाँ, फिर अच्छा, आज का. हाँ, हाँ, तो बेटर है ना, टी टाइम में जाओ, फिर सीनियर लैब में पूछ सकते. ओह, सो यू हैव मेनी प्रॉब्लम्स. हाँ, हाँ? तो बहुत solution और बहुत interpretation बाकी है तुम लोग डाटा कलेक्ट करोगे नाउ इट इज थ्रू व्हाई इंटरप्रिटेशन द क्वेश्चन इज व्हाई हाँ मींस वी कैन स्किप इंटरप्रिटेशन then what we have to report you have to report just the observation हाँ जो तुमने डाटा कलेक्ट किया उस ऑब्जर्वेशन को रिपोर्ट कर दिया but that is not a good way because you will be unable to predict any theory huh? So just the fact reporting is not sufficient you have to interpret why why it is coming so it is through interpretation the researcher can well understand the abstract principle that works beneath his findings so you have already understood the findings but what are the principle for which you are getting that finding that you will be able to understand through interpretation so it is very important whatever data you gather so plot it and sit with that data then again you have to do literature survey क्योंकि तुम्हें थ्योरी समझना है उसके बारे में वो लोगों को कैसा मिला है और मुझे कैसा मिल रहा है मेरा रीजन क्या है ये ज्यादा और ये कम होने का थ्रू दिस ही कैन लिंक अप हिज फाइंडिंग विद दोज ऑफ अदर स्टडीज यस अदर स्टडीज के साथ तुम लिंक बना पाओगे देन having the same abstract principle and thereby can predict about the concrete world of events. Fresh inquiry can test this prediction later on. This way the continuity in research can be maintained. So क्या होगा तुम कुछ पुराना principles पुराना similar report देख के you have whatever data you get you sit and analyze with the help of literature survey with similar in similar topics right and using that principle you explain try to interpret it data and then you propose your interpretation. Your interpretation or your theory becomes a starting point for a new researcher. Okay, so that way the scientific continuity is maintained. So what this interpretation, why it is required, it is mentioned. Okay, second is interpretation leads to establishment of explanatory concepts that can serve as guide for future research studies. It opens new avenues of intellectual adventure and stimulates the quest for more knowledge. So you will see that during your research course, as and when you get the first success, basically first understanding, okay, I have got this data in this trend because of this theory, and you explained it based on your theory, it will motivate you to do future studies. You also, okay, each individual. So that they say that it stimulates. Once you do that, it will stimulate the quest for more knowledge. More you want to. It will open up. Now what I can do later on. So what is lacking in this study and what you work on that, and then later on again you solve it, propose a theory, and then you understand. Okay, this part is a blank part which has not been done. Now I do. So this is how your first work can motivate you for the second work. The second work can stimulate you for the third. So interpretation is required because if you don't interpret, that stimulation will not come. Just observation reporting is not sufficient. Okay. Researcher can better appreciate only through interpretation. Means this appreciation will come only during interpretation. During that time only, you will get that intellectual satisfaction, which I told you during my first classes, right? His findings and they can understand real significance of his research finding. And then you can, during your presentations, which you make in symposiums, conferences, or during your thesis or APR, it will help others understand. The interpretation of findings of exploratory research study often results into hypothesis for experimental research. And as such, interpretation is involved in the transition from exploratory to experimental research. So the field in which you are working, somebody had explored for the first time, right? That is why it opened up this avenue. So this is what, since an exploratory study does not have a hypothesis to start with, the findings of such a study have to be interpreted on a post factum basis after, in which case the interpretation is technically described as post factum interpretation. So an exploratory research is a post factum interpretation. Techniques. What are the techniques you can, again, we understood the techniques of problem statement, 5 techniques. You remember, no? We understood the techniques of literature survey. We understood the techniques of research design, techniques of data collection, and now finally the technique of interpretation. So what are the techniques? Researcher must give reasonable explanation of relations which he has found, and he must interpret the lines of relationship in terms of underlying processes. Must try to find out the thread of uniformity that lies under the surface layer of his diversified research finding. In fact, this is a technique of how generalization should be done and concepts be formulated. Extraneous information, okay, something other than your relationships of variables, if collected during the study, must be considered for interpreting the final result. So you cannot exclude the extraneous variables if you have not done a control design. But try to identify the extraneous result. That is also relationship. It will identify. It will help people identify the extraneous variables, right, for their research. Okay. It is advisable before embarking upon final interpretation to consult someone having insight into the study. Again, same thing. Discussion with experts. Oh, har jagah likhna hai. So if interpretation also, discussion with experts is one point. Consult someone having insight into the study and is frank and honest and will not hesitate to point out omissions and errors in logical argumentation. Such a consultation will result in correct interpretation, thus will enhance the utility of results. So when you first come up with your data and you sit with the data, the previous literature, and you come to a logical conclusion. Okay, I have got this trend in data because of this reason. You discuss with your guides, again lab mates, present it in the APR. The experts will comment, no. They will point out errors. Don't get annoyed. They are telling you the extraneous variables which are affecting your results. And there is no harm. You can also report it, the extraneous variables which are being told, which is affecting your research. Okay. Researchers must accomplish the task of interpretation only of concerning all relevant factors affecting the problem to avoid false generation. He must be in no hurry while interpreting result. For quite often, the conclusions which appear to be all right at the beginning may not all be accurate. Okay. So take your time in interpretation. Data collection. So in every step you have to give certain time. Okay. So by this time you have understood that your research, कितना पेपर आएगा सर, कितना जल्दी आएगा, कितना impact factor होगा. It's not so simple to answer. So वो तो नहीं बता रहे. No, it's not so simple. So only when you collect your data, you sit for the interpretation, you get the conclusions, you discuss and then point out and take your time. Take your time to come to the proper interpretation, because that forms the basis and stimulative for the future research. Okay. Precautions. What are the precautions we will take? At the outset, researcher must invariably satisfy himself that the data are appropriate. First, the data should be appropriate. You should really look into the data that whatever observation you are making is a fact, not a false data you have generated. Okay. So data reflect good homogeneity. Second. Third is proper analysis has been done through statistical methods. So right now, we will complete it here and then the statistical methods will start. Okay. Means what are the variations in the data or what are the statistical methods you will try to incorporate it during data reporting. So in many papers I have seen, they have plotted in x-axis and y-axis, suppose conversion versus temperature. So you give a plot because you have got a data. But in many reviewers tell, is your data accurate that there is no error bar? So they tell to incorporate an error bar. So if there is a 10% error bar, so along with that line or the data points, you will plot a bar. Okay, within this uppish limit and the lower limit, my data can vary. It's not that मुझे 3 बार ही इतना मिला है. Like titration, you have everybody has done in classes in 11, 12. So titration mein what we do, we take 3 readings and take the average of the readings. So in the average you find, okay, it can be 17.1, it can be 17 or 17.2. So you plot an error graph, error bar, कि उसके अंदर मेरा डाटा हो सकता है. Between 17 to 17.2, my data is within this error bar and my data is 17.1. So like that you have to mention. So those data statistically you have to present. The researcher must remain cautious about errors that can possibly arise. Say I was telling you about the temperature versus conversion plot. So some error in the temperature measurement, he should be careful. I am measuring the temperature accurately. For that, he should do a temperature calibration also. I am measuring along with the concentrations of the solutions which you have prepared are perfect. So like that, these are the precautions which would have to follow before you are interpreting. he must always keep in view that the task of interpretation is very much intertwined with analysis and cannot be distinctly separated. So once you are interpreting an analysis with your results, you are doing it together. The analysis of your data and interpretation of data. As such, he must take the task of interpretation as a special aspect of analysis and accordingly must take all precaution that usually one observes going through the process of analysis. Means precaution of considering the reliability of data, computational checks, validation, and comparison of results. Then fourth precaution, broad generalization should be avoided. So as I told you many times that, okay, I am doing a study with 5 samples, then the concentrations of one dopant is 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. So that your whatever generalization you will propose is between 1 to 5%. So somebody who is doing with 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, and 5.5, it should be true. It should be true. But somebody who is working with 10%, 20%, 30, 40, 50, it is not true. So you should avoid such broad generalization. With dopant concentration, my activity is increasing or my optical properties are showing improvement. But you have to mention that dopant concentration of 1 to 5%. You cannot broadly say, okay, it can be that in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, you get the reverse trend or some other kind of trend. Okay. So whatever data you are collecting and analyzing and interpreting, it should be within your scope or within your data collection method. It should not be a very broad generalization beyond your study you have done. The researcher must remember that ideally in the course of research study, there should be constant interaction between initial hypothesis. Okay, as I told you, we learn the research stages, but those are not boundary, means hardcore boundaries that they are separated. So during and interpretation also, you have to go to literature survey, right? So there will be a constant interaction between initial hypothesis, empirical observation, and theoretical conceptions. It is exactly in this area of interaction between the theoretical orientation and empirical observation that opportunities for originality and creativity lie. So many contemporary, right now, whatever many material science research are going on, they, along with the experimental data, they give a theoretical data as well for better proposal of theories. Whatever theories they are proposing, they do it with along with as I told you, the DFT studies in material science. I'm telling, means it can be condensed matter physics or material chemistry. So they do a theoretical study as well. Well, if I am not doing, I can collaborate with someone who can do a similar theory. Okay, and they explain the reason why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% doping is increasing the activity. That reason I am proposing, and theoretically also theory studies are also proposing, and then we intervene them, both the analysis, and then your whatever your conclusion you reach is more strengthened, okay, more strong and acceptable to the whole research community. So this is how the originality they are telling, means it should be should be interaction with theoretical orientation and empirical observations. Means theoretical data, empirical observation means observe, experience with your data collection what you have explained. Empirical means we explained it first, that that issue should be empirical, means observation based. So that observation, if you can club with theoretical understanding, then instead of just literature survey and past things, if you have your own theoretical data, your conclusion is more strengthened. So this is what they're doing. So we have what we have done in our classes, in throughout the. So formulating the research problem we have studied. So we have studied extensive literature survey. We have studied developing the hypothesis. We have done preparing the research design. Okay, several types of design we have gone through. We have done determining the sample design. We have done how the data collection has to be done, and execution of project black. We have done nothing. I leave it upon you. You will do it during your course. And then we have done something about analysis of data is testing in blue, because we have not learned many things, but the rest of the classes which starts from Tuesday, they will be dealing with this analysis, means statistical variance, ANOVA technique, means the mathematical analysis of your data. One should follow. Okay, that will be taught in the classes. Okay, so there these two things will be covered. We understood what is generalization interpretation today. So all these in green we have covered, blue partly we have covered, it will be covered, And the red, the preparation of report, presentation of results, that will be covered in the ethics classes last by Kallol sir, who is coordinator of this course. He's the senior most among our 3 lecturers. So he'll come at the end, after Remia madam takes the classes, and he will tell about how you should prepare the report or present the results. Okay, this is what. Okay, so we completed module A, and then we completed this module B. All these things in these classes, what I have covered. Okay, and these are the assignments for today. Whatever we have done, and so no, thank you again to this. Sorry. So we have completed our research. My part I have completed today. Monday, try to attend. Okay, I know you have to meet teachers as well. Sorry, guides and interactions you have to do. You have to go for questionnaire method and schedules and all those things. But Monday, what I will do, whatever assignments I have given, that short presentation, so revision we will do whatever we have done from beginning. If somebody is very confident, sir, मुझे आता है तो तुम जाओ. अगर नहीं आता है तो आके रहे वही easy presentations, whatever presentations I have made. Some of the slides, I will present important. You come reading the slides during exam. Exam will also come, na? So exam, I will tell you, exam will be of objective and subjective type. There are specific reasons that we cannot keep only objective or only subjective. So objective questions around out of 50, around 15, 10 to 15 marks, and then rest short questions and 1 or 2 be long questions like that. Okay. Ekdam question hai sir. So 3 marks and 5 marks probably. 3 marks short and 5 marks long. So, okay. So this is what we will do. But what you will read? You will read only the class notes and what is there in the syllabus, not the examples and all those things are not required. So I'll give a glimpse क्या क्या पढ़ना है. सिलेबस तो मैंने क्लास में दिखाया था ना, इसी में है. ग्रीन. तो आज सिलेबस कंप्लीट हो गया, ग्रीन हो गया मेरा पार्ट का. So Monday will do the revision of the important concepts. Okay, वो slides rush through करेंगे, लेकिन वो अच्छे से पढ़ के आओ. If you read all those assignments, the question answers, you will be able to answer the objective as well as the subjective part. Okay, ठीक है. Thank you. चलो, all the best.